Oh, okay. I think we're recording now. Hey, everybody. Hope you are all doing well. Excuse me if I keep looking up. I wanted to do a couple of videos to keep everybody updated on how and things are going, I guess, if, just to keep people informed. Um, so I've got another video going up, which will be more of a kind of a life update and about things, but this is going to be more of an update around my setup and what I have and my specs and basically how I go about recording videos and doing stuff and things like that. To cut a long story short, and the long story will be in the other video where I kind of discuss what's been going on this year, which has been crazy. I'm sure it has for a lot of people. But we were looking to move, and we were very close to moving house. But unfortunately, due to the kind of the COVID-19 pandemic, that hasn't, that pulled out. Our buyer pulled out, essentially, who was buying our house, and that led us to not be able to move. There were lots of reasons why we wanted to move, and I'll go into those, I say, in another video and kind of discuss that whole process. But as I said, cutting a long story pretty short, we're staying where we are, and as you can see, I've now kind of set up an office, or as such. You have to excuse kind of just down there. There's a shelf which still needs to get put up, and there's still a few bits and bobs around which need doing. But I kind of wanted to record this video and just kind of chat to you guys. I'll switch in this video to recording the actual setup so you can see how it looks, etc., and talking about it. The video might be a little rough because I'm probably just going to use my phone, but hopefully it'll be okay. But yeah, what I've got, I'm really happy with, and I've been working and doing videos. Well, working on doing videos. I wouldn't say working because I don't work from home, but I've been working on this channel, streaming and making videos for since March this year, I guess, when I moved in with my girlfriend, and and I didn't really have an office, didn't have a desk, I didn't have anything really set up properly. It was very much kind of ghettoing, and the reason was that we were moving, and so we were like, well, there's no point in us setting everything up. Obviously, the whole lockdown thing lasted a lot longer than anyone thought. And then coming out of that, when we lost the house, we then started to try to sell our house again, but to no avail. So we didn't want to set everything up because I guess two things: we felt that we were going to sell the house, firstly, but secondly, we didn't want to crowd the room, although in hindsight, the room looks so much better now that everything is set up, actually. So, yeah, maybe that wasn't a great idea. But you do things with hindsight. Like we have a really nice sofa. We had it in our garage for like 4 months because we thought we were moving, and we were like, we don't want to lug it upstairs. And then one day we were just like, what is the point of this? Like, of us being on our older sofa, which is realistically a 2-seater sofa, so it's a bit small. Even though it's 2-seater, it's still a bit small for 2 people, especially when you have 2 dogs who want to sit on the sofa as well. And we have a nice big kind of L-shaped sofa now, and we had that just in the garage because we were like, what was the point of moving it up? But we just kind of taken the point of like where we were like, no, even if we do move, we'll just move everything again, because what we're learning is nothing is guaranteed until it's guaranteed. So you just got to enjoy your life and enjoy the things in your life as you kind of go along there. So that's what we're doing. But yeah, I'm really happy with the whole setup and the way things are looking. There's still things to do and tweak and get right, but I've got my computer pretty much set up as I want it. Or my computers, as I should say, to just kind of give you a hint as to the setup I've got. Although cable management is still an issue. So if you do watch the video and you're like, wow, that's the thing, it's still, we haven't quite kind of figured everything out yet, I guess, on there. But it's a really nice room, this one. There's plenty of room in here to do stuff. I feel a bit bad because um, my girlfriend kind of gave me this room. We only live in a 2-bedroom house, and we wanted to move to a 3-bed so that we could both have a bedroom to ourselves. Her for an office. She mostly works from home now, and me as a kind of a studio come office type thing. And she's kind of working in our lounge, but I think she prefers the lounge in some ways because it's a bigger space and it doesn't feel like you're just in a small room all day long if you're working from home, whereas I quite like being in a small kind of studio from recording. Obviously, being in a lounge wouldn't be ideal for recording these videos or streaming or anything. So what we got is what we worked. And then I think in a year or so, once hopefully, fingers crossed, everything calms down, we're going to look to move again and get that kind of set up. But for now, she's very generously given me what was her book room. She owns thousands, tens of thousands almost of books, and this place was lined with kind of bookshelves. I think if you look back to my earlier videos during like early lockdown, you might see a lot of those books, but we've moved a lot of that stuff out now. Some of the books are in storage, although we're going to move them back into the house, just around the house on shelves and things. You can see some kind of behind me there as well as that kind of cool recording sign. You can see what she got me for my birthday in July, which I've only just managed to get set up because, you know, life at the minute is crazy. But I'll go into stuff about my work and things like that in a different video. But for now, we'll switch over to my camera, and I'll give you a little tour, I guess, of how I set things up and what I do. So see you in a second. Hey everyone, welcome to this setup video. Now, obviously I did my little intro, and I'm now recording on my, my webcam, which is my GoPro on there. So this is kind of, I guess, the setup I have currently, and I'll go through some bits in detail as to the specs and what we've got going on here. But apologies if the audio isn't great. I am using the audio from the GoPro, so I don't know how good it will be, but if it's terrible, I will overdub it with stuff and how we're going. So I use a 2-computer setup. We have my gaming PC over here, which I play all my games on, and then underneath here is what I use to record / stream games and all the stuff you see. So you don't often see a lot of 2 PC setups anymore, because modern PCs are very good at recording things, or people use perhaps they use an external box to record or something like that. But the situation I found myself in after upgrading my gaming PC, and I'll go through the specs in a minute of that, was that I had a fair amount of PC parts left over. So I had my CPU, motherboard, RAM left over. I built my girlfriend a PC for her to use at home because she didn't have one. And then it turned out her work gave her this like brand new swanky laptop, like top of the range thing, which is even better probably than my computer right now, although it doesn't obviously have a graphics card. But it was like a 10 series i7, I think, so it was pretty good. But yeah, she got that laptop, so we were like, well, my little old leftover like PC I built out of spares is not anywhere near as good as that. So what can I use it for? I was like, I could sell the parts, sure. I don't think I would have got that much. And I was like, well, I already had an internal capture card in this PC here, which I used to record PlayStation 4, Switch, etc. And I was like, well, what if I move that into the other PC, and then instead of this PC having to do all the work, I can make this PC down here do all the work, and leave this PC to run at its full potential. And essentially that's what we do right now. So, and there are other advantages. Now, I will say that this isn't by no means probably the most optimum setup there is out there, but it works for what I want to do, and I'll go through that in a sec as to what it is. But let's go through the two PCs and what they are right now. So, this is my gaming PC here. Excuse the wires, I have not finished with the cable management and stuff. I haven't got everything exactly where I want it. In my gaming PC, I have a Ryzen 7 3700X, which is overclocked to about 4.7 gigahertz, I believe. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, nothing special. I believe it's 3600 megahertz or 3666, something like that. And it does a very good job. Obviously 32 gigs is pretty good. I have several hard drives in there. I have an X570 motherboard, which does allow you to use PCIe 4.0 for your like next gen M.2s, but I don't have one. They were very expensive at the time I got it, and I didn't feel like I needed it right then. But I do have a couple of M.2s in there, and I also have a couple of SSDs as well. The graphics card is a 2080 Super. It's the Aorus one. I'll give you a kind of bit of a close up there if you can kind of see. Apologies for the reflections. Obviously now it's not top of the line with the new 30 series coming out, but it will still do me a job for a good couple of years, I think. I don't feel the need to upgrade, and I'll go through why in a minute with my monitor and stuff, but it's doing a fine job, and it's a decent card. It's pretty quiet. If you hear any fan noise, it's actually the other PC. This one is silent when it's just idle, and when on full load, sure, it does make a sound, but I'll go through how I deaden that sound. I have a audio interface here for my mic. It's a Steinberg UR22 Mark II, which I use for my microphone, because I have an XLR microphone rather than a USB one. I have my Joy Pad here, I guess, which is a it's actually a bit dirty at the minute, to be fair. It's a Nikon one. It's very, very good. I really like it. It was probably about £80, but it's really, really good quality. Much better quality than an Xbox One controller or a PS4, but certainly not as expensive as, you know, the Elite controller, or, you know, I know you can get like the Scuff controllers or whatever, things like that. It's I think it's a really nice sweet spot. And as somebody who does enjoy playing a lot of games with a joypad, then it's cool. Up here you can see that's monitor there. It's actually on Streamlabs at the minute, but that monitor is just a pretty bog standard Dell 1080p one, which I borrowed from work because they had loads and didn't need it basically. And that is what the other PC down here is going to, and then that's my main monitor, but we'll come to that in a minute. So down here, you can't see it very well because it's got a dark panel on it. That is my streaming PC. So essentially what happens is this has a capture card in it, which is a Elgato 4K 60 card, which means that it can record up to 4K 60 frames per second, and that's plugged in. The red thing you can see there is a graphics card. It's a 1050 graphics card, which is literally the minimum required graphics card for what I needed it to do, and I'll go into that in a sec. But the other specs are, it's an i7 6700K, which is overclocked to about 4.5 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Nothing too special with the RAM. I think it's about 2600, something like that. You don't really need it for Intel. And I think I've got a 500 gig SSD in there. That's pretty much it. On the back there's a cam link, an Elgato cam link as well, and as I said, there's a internal capture card in there as well, which I use. So essentially what happens is my PC does all the work. That then has a HDMI cable that goes out and goes into the small PC down there. That records everything. You get to see everything up there that you need on there, and you record it. So it means that there's no additional stress on this gaming PC whatsoever. There's no microphones attached. There's no software running in the background to stream. There's no hard drives being used to record, nothing. All it does is it mirrors the signal that it sends out to the monitor, and that signal is mirrored there. So it doesn't have to make two signals, it just mirrors the same signal, which is no it doesn't create any extra strain on the graphics card. Now, to be fair, I used to use Nvidia Shadow Play, and there wasn't really much of a strain on the graphics card from Nvidia Shadow Play, but there was a bit. And then there was a little bit more because I was using the RTX Voice app as well. And then, you know, having those programs open just creates a little bit more CPU usage, etc. You know, so it adds up over time, shall we say. And, you know, the other advantage, I guess, of having this two system setup is if there is a problem with my gaming PC, I don't lose all the footage that I just recorded. It has happened to me on multiple occasions where I have been playing a game, especially something like a modded Skyrim, the game has crashed and I've lost the footage. That won't happen here because all this is doing is recording a video feed, and if that video feed cuts out, it just records black. So you keep all the footage you had and it's on there. The other advantage is I can monitor sound levels. I can mute my mic a lot more easily. All those things are good. And for streaming, I would say it's even better because obviously you have everything here that you need to record with the streaming. Streaming puts much more load onto your PC than it does onto your PC than just recording. So it is useful to have two PCs, I guess, to stream. Totally not unnecessary, like in modern day, but as I had the spares already, you know, I used it. Now, I said about the graphics card, it's an MSI 1050. I purchased it on eBay for about £60. You probably can get them cheaper now, to be fair, but at the time it was £60, and it was the minimum card I wanted because the 10 series video cards have the encoding built into the card, which allows me to, when I record, I use the graphics card to encode the video. Same with streaming as well. That reduces some of the load on the CPU. From what I've discovered, the load to record on the GPU, this GPU in particular, is, or when I stream, is around 50% usage. If I was using the CPU, it would be 100% usage, and then that causes problems with other programs you're using. So now you might be thinking, well, God, that it's a no-brainer to use a different graphics card if it's 50% usage on the graphics card. But bear in mind, this is a very weak graphics card. On my 2080 Super, the load would not be anywhere near 50%. It would probably be single digits, but it still makes a difference, if that makes sense. So you have this buddy down here who, as I said, the GPU looks after the encoding of the video. The CPU also does things like the audio and stuff like that on there. So, well, actually that's a lie. So the GPU also uses RTX Voice. So the RTX Voice app, I've done a video on it if you want to watch it, but it's brilliant. It basically cuts out any background noise you have. It's incredible. You might be able to hear the fan noise on here that this makes, but when I record, you cannot hear a thing. It cuts out all the background noise using AI technology. Now, according to NVIDIA, you can only use 20 series upwards cards to use RTX Voice. But in the video I recorded, there is a workaround to use it, and this 1050 works with RTX Voice. So that is an option as well, which you can use on there. So yeah, it kind of works out pretty well. So this basically does all the work, records the webcam, records the video feed, records the audio, streams it out, does all that work, which would add load onto my gaming PC. My gaming PC is just there for me to play and game on. So if we come up to the actual desk and what we've got on here, so my microphone here, as you can see, that's a Blue Yeti, but it's a Blue Yeti Pro. So what that means, and I see my monitor's kind of just gone into screensaver mode there. What that means is it can use an XLR connector, which I do, or it can use a USB connector. I use an XLR because I just find it has better audio quality to it. So it's really that simple. USB is still fine. A USB Blue Yeti is still a really great mic, but you know, it has its limitations. Two mice because I have two PCs. The yellow mouse does the PC under the desk. The pink mouse is my main gaming mouse. It's a an Xfinity M2 or something like that. I don't know. It's really cool. I love it, and it's got really cool like RGB on it and stuff. Yeah, sweet. Which you don't need software to control, which is something I really love on it as well, actually. I've got my keyboard here. It's a 10 keyless. It's a Drivo something or other. I can't remember what the name of it is. There's my custom keycaps. You'll notice a couple of them are missing. That's because I broke them. I need to replace them. But yeah, it's a really nice keyboard, actually. And then I have my other keyboard, which is a Keymove Snow Fox, I think it is. Sorry about the cables again, but it's really nice. These are blue switches here, and these are red switches here on there. So, and I have my headphones just sitting at the back there at the minute. My monitor here is a 1440p 144 hertz 32-inch Asus something or other G-Sync HDR, but I turn the HDR off because it's crap. It's like HDR 400 or something. It's a really nice monitor. It's huge. I love it. As I said, my graphics card runs pretty much everything at very high at 1440p. I mean, with everything turned on in The Witcher 3, I was getting like 80 to 90 frames per second at 2K. I think with something like, say, Valhalla that's coming out, I would look to get on very high settings. I'd look to be getting 60 to 70, I think, without much turned off, which I'm very happy with. Those sort of games, I don't feel the need to get hundreds of frames per second. If I wanted to play a shooter like Destiny 2, which I played, I get well over 100 frames per second. So yeah, pretty good. I've got some lights as well. I've got a light here which I can control with my phone, which is cool. If I just do that now to where are we? So I can change the colour of that if I want to. Ooh. Oh, my dog's trying to get in. Hold on one sec. Oh, my dog is in. What do you want? Can I help you? I guess this means the video is going to be coming to an end. But anyway, yeah. And I have some little desk LEDs around here as well, which is super cool. I did a separate video on that. I can't remember if I even uploaded it, but they're called Govee Dream Color lights, and they're really unique because you can change individual sections to different colors. You can see here without it flowing, for example. Also, you can get it to dance to kind of music and stuff like that. As you can kind of see here, as I talk, you can set up your own scenes. You can get it to flow. You can just get it on color. You can change a section of the color to whatever you want. It's super cool. I really love it. But I actually kind of broke them, actually, weirdly, before I managed to set them up. I broke them in half, but it worked out to be the perfect length for kind of like an L shape on my desk. I might get another section and put them behind me for like streams and stuff, but the Govee Dream Color lights I fully recommend. They are very good on there. You're right there, dog. She's having a sniff. but yeah, so this is kind of the setup I've got going at the minute. It's working fine at the minute. I don't know if I'm going to switch anything up at the minute or do anything, but I really like it. As I said, cable management needs a little bit of work, but otherwise it's totally fine and usable, really. This desk I've had for years. It's travelled with me now. This is my third place I've lived and had this desk. It was from IKEA. It was about £100 and it's lasted a long time. Very solid, really like absolutely solid wood. So it's lasted a long time. But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps that up a little bit. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.